Hi, this is Joyce with windingwaytarot.com, and today I wanted to share with you another method that I have employed for deepening my understanding of the meanings of individual tarot cards. This video sprang up from the little nagging voice that sometimes harasses me in the night, and I was thinking about the last lesson video that I did, the journaling method for beginners learning the meanings of all 78 cards, and how it was based on a single card draw. And I kept thinking, you know, there's a lot of people out there that are going to be like me, who feel like one card a day is rather plodding. So this is another method for those of you who might have a little bit more time, and especially for those like me who have more than one deck. Now, you don't have to have more than one deck in order to use this method. You can apply it to a single card from a single deck, and this is solely an examination of the images, symbolism, and meanings as you interpret them, with a comparison to the guidebooks definitions. So you can use one card, but I found it really helpful because I'm a visual learner and I enjoy variety, and I tend to get a little bored and distracted when I am limited to repeatedly examining just one image. I don't know if that sounds abnormal or flighty, or I don't know. But I do know that I can't be the only person that's like that. So, and if I am, well, maybe this can still help you anyway. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I don't want this to run terribly long. You're going to, once again, need to have a composition book. As I discussed in the last video, writing things down is a fantastic way to firmly cement the information into your mind. Reading something is great. Observing something is great. Reading something and then observing that same thing separately, even better. Now you take those two and you add in writing your own record of what you're observing and what you are reading, and it just takes it to a whole nother level. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. So I've got my journal, and at the top, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the date. And in this lesson, what we're going to be doing is we're going to take one card from each of 3 different decks. It's a court card, the Page of Wands, and in this case the page is called the Knave. But we're going to be examining the Page of Wands from 3 different decks. The first being the Viceversa Tarot, the second being the Sinking Wasteland Tarot, and the third being the Alexander Danl Tarot. Okay, so we're focused on a court card in the Suit of Wands. So at the top, I'm going to make a note, and I'm going to do this on every single page that deals with a particular suit. So every page within my journal that deals with the Suit of Wands, at the top I'm going to write these keywords to develop that connection over time. So I have it's the element of fire. Wands represent the element of fire. They can also represent action, determination, inspiration, ambition, energy, creativity, originality, and the season of spring. Okay? Below, I'm going to make a note of what cards I'm examining. I'm examining the Page of Wands. Now, if you're only examining the Page of Wands from one deck, you're going to write the name of the deck here. In this case, I'm examining the pages from 3 different decks, so I'm going to record 1, Viceversa, 2, Sinking Wasteland, 3, Alexander Daniloff. Okay? Below that, what are my first impressions? Just like the last lesson, which was with a random card draw for your daily reading, this time it's not random. I've chosen them ahead of time, which card I want to focus on. But I'm still going to hold them up to to you in this case, but I'm going to lay them out on my table for myself. I'm going to look at them all together, and I'm going to say, what are the common elements across these 3 cards? I see an arid landscape. I see a bright, clear sky. I see a young man with a bold posture. I can see each of them has a wand, and each of them are holding the wand. So those are the things that I see across each of the cards. And I'm going to record that. Record what I am seeing in the image. Okay? Then I'm going to look at the cards individually. So here I have the Knave of Wands from the Viceversa Tarot. What do I see in his card that's unique to his card? I see that he has flaming red hair. He has a bright red cloak. He is bare-chested. And he has some... Sorry, I have a cat scratching themselves on my table. Miss May, thank you. Sorry, that was not an earthquake. Okay, so here's my knave. He has some sort of scrubby, thorny plant growing up behind him, and also sprouting from the top of his wand here. All right, and so then I'm asking myself, is there a feeling of his of emotion that might go with that card? And my first thoughts are he might be a little aggressive. He seems pretty determined. There's something about the way he's standing and leaning. He's pretty determined. He is not covering himself. He's bold. All right. So now we're going to go on to our Sinking Wasteland. Sinking Wasteland Page of Wands. And what do I see about him? He is using the flame on his wand to light his cigarette. So he's kind of got a, y'all can just kiss my butt. Miss May, oh my goodness. Is that really necessary? Sorry. Okay, so, and we have the big, bright, fiery sun in the sky shining down on everything. And he's dressed in this coat. It looks like he's ready for any kind of elements, right? And he's heading out into the world. He's looking boldly forward. I get the sense that he has chosen a direction, and that's the way he's going. And third, we have our Alexander Daniloff. Of the 3 pages that we're examining today, he looks the youngest. And his head is tilted in a way that says, maybe I'm not here of my own volition. This might have been requested of me, but I'm doing my job, right? So we're going to look at his appearance and the symbolism that we have here. He has his wand. It's ornately carved, right? So the question might be, is that his wand, or is it something someone has presented him with, and now he's holding it proudly, right? He's dressed very finely compared to our other 2 fellows. He's got this brilliant, fiery feather in his, I imagine, his velvet cap. He's prepared for wherever he is going. He's got his little purse and his dagger. Below him, he is standing on a tiled surface out here in the middle of the desert. So my very first impression of that was, it looks like a chessboard, but the tiles are different colors. And then finally, up here in his beautiful, brilliant banner, we have 3 images, 3 symbols of the element of fire. We have the salamander. In the very back, we have a burning wand. And across in the other direction, in the middle, we have a leafy branch. And my impression of that is that it's probably a branch from an ash tree, as those are representatives of the element of fire. Okay, so now I've gone through and I've done all my interpretations of the cards. I have recorded the common traits between the cards, and then I've gone down and said 1, 2, 3. Number 1 would be Viceversa, 2 is Sinking Wasteland, 3 is Alexander Daniloff, and I've recorded what I am seeing and what impressions that gives me, what feelings those give me. Now, we're going to continue on, but we're going to use our guidebooks. In the case of the Alexander Daniloff, which we'll come to down here at the bottom, the creator of the deck, who's a fantastic artist, he lives in Italy, Mr. Daniloff, did not include a guidebook with his deck. However, that doesn't hinder you at all, because you can see the similarities between his art on his cards and the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. So you can find PDFs free for you to view online all over the place of the little white book from the RWS, and I'll include a link to one in my blog and also underneath this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, and as I do in my journal, I paraphrase the information within the guidebooks. I don't write it out word for word. First of all, it's not my words, so I don't like copying their work. I'm going to paraphrase it. And second of all, I don't want to write an entire guidebook's worth of information here. I want the main points. So that's what I've done there. And so let's go ahead and get started with that. First, because the card that we had as the number 1 was the Knave of Wands, we're going to open up the Viceversa Tarot, and I've marked the page here so I don't have to search. It's page 150 in the Viceversa's gorgeous, gorgeous book. And just a side note, if you purchase the Viceversa Tarot, I highly recommend that you purchase the kit that comes with the book instead of just the deck alone, because there is so much additional depth that you can achieve by reading both sides of these cards, and that information is found within this book. So here we have the image that we're using today, the outer self, and I've just written my own little synopsis of what it says in there. We have a confident, self-assured, fearless, strong young individual, possibly a little rough cut and brash. The barren landscape and prickly plants may represent this young individual's harsh nature or some irritating aspects of his personality. And just a reminder, court cards often are thought to represent individuals, but just because the individual on the court card is portrayed as a male or a female does not mean that that court card represents a male or a female. It can represent any individual who embodies these qualities, and it can represent situations in which you or the seeker may need to emulate some of these qualities, or situations where you might be struggling with these qualities, okay? So now we're going to move on to the Sinking Wasteland Tarot. I love this one. If you would like to purchase it, you can go to booksellers.com. You're going to love it. All right, so Page of Wands. He's right here on page 23 of the guidebook. And I've recorded my own words, the paraphrasing of the entry. Time for open-mindedness and adventure. Be ready to try new things on your journey. A detailed plan may not be necessary, so get moving and see where the road may take you. All right. And finally, Alexander Daniloff. Oh, and here, once again, this was the image for our lovely Page of Wands from the Sinking Wasteland. He makes me think of Daryl from The Walking Dead, just a little bit. Okay, and so finally, we have the handsome, young, energetic Page of Wands from Alexander Daniloff's gorgeous tarot deck, which I will include a link to his website so that if you would like to own that one yourself, you can purchase it from him. He's very good about the international shipping and keeping in contact with you, so you can feel pretty comfortable about that. So finally, in my words, but based on the RWS Little White Book, a young man stands before mounds or pyramids. He's in the act of proclamation. He's unknown but faithful. He brings strange news or information, and he has the chief qualities of his suit. And down here, I make an additional note to remind myself as I go along that those qualities include determination, inspiration, creativity, passion, curiosity, and a visionary individual. So, if you are feeling like you want to move along a little faster and not just do a single card draw, this is a good way to bolster your learning experience, your accumulation of knowledge and understanding. And if you're like me and you learn well through comparisons, this is a really helpful way to do it. I know there are a lot of people who feel a little bit nervous about having multiple decks and are perplexed by the prospect of having to learn multiple meanings for all these decks, but this is a really cool and simple way to do that if you want to do it that way. Otherwise, you can just do one card following the same guidelines, but multiple entries per day if you wish. So I hope this helps you out. Again, this is Joyce with windingwaytarot.com, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Thanks for joining me.